Hey everyone, so this video is not your typical outdoor video. This is me in the Adirondacks chasing a buck for 4 days, and I think the value it has is that I narrate throughout it what I'm experiencing. That's about it. And in that narration, you're going to find little tidbits that I think are important, that might teach you some things, what I look for, what I'm experiencing at the time. And this was with a big buck. I had opportunities to shoot him that you'll see, and I didn't for one reason or another. You'll see that sometimes things don't just line up perfectly. I actually had 3 instances. One time I shot at him and missed. I had 3 different instances where I was within 30 yards of him and probably could have got the job done, but for one reason or another, I didn't, and you'll learn why. But more than that, I hope that it's educational and that you can see that all the little tricks of the trade I kind of go over. And I hope if you're looking for a video with the kill shot at the end, and you're not going to find it here, what you're going to find is an adventure for 4 days in the middle of my season in the Adirondacks, in the central Adirondacks, with a very big buck, and I had a lot of fun. I mean, and once again, the buck taught me a whole bunch of new things in the woods. And ironically, this buck is in the area that I learned to track in over the last couple decades, and I went back to my roots, which was really neat. It was really cool to spend time there. I hadn't been there in many years. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope you find value in some of the little tidbits and some of the little videos, and join me on the journey. I hope you enjoy. All right, well, I'm headed into to that place that Bob gave me the coordinates, to that big buck. It's one of the biggest tracks I've ever seen in the Adirondacks, and hunting here for 15 years. So he's a hell of a buck. And he said there's 2 others in there that are probably 3.5 to 5-year-olds. Bigger tracks, but not quite as big as this other one. So, yeah, I'm excited. We'll see how it goes. All right. Bye, everyone. I just bumped this buck, I don't know, maybe a couple 100 yards into the woods. And I'm going to show you something. He's walking here. And he hit this, so he's probably got a decent rack. Take a look. Notice how the snow is knocked off that branch. And look at how high it is. He's feeding. Good tine marks. I'm gonna go get him. Look at the tine marks. He's a big boy. I just caught up with him, but it's so crunchy. I don't know if he winded me, because I don't think he could have seen me. But it made him nervous, and he bolted. I was literally in the death creep for 2.5 hours, because I didn't know. He kept feeding and kept feeding and kept feeding. That shit's exhausting. But at least I caught up to him. And he keeps feeding, so he's got to lay down to chew his cud. So maybe he'll make a mistake, get sloppy. Who knows? I gotta eat something now. So I caught up with that buck. Almost got a shot. I just saw his form in the snow falling off the trees, but it's so thick in here. And, but I don't think he ever winded me. He ran maybe 150 yards, and he's already started feeding. Let me show you. Eating ferns, stuff like that, and the 12 o'clock bell just went off in town. So I'm gonna eat some lunch because I'm damn hungry, and then we'll resume chase. I can go real soft and quiet. The snow is starting to get a little quieter too. Thank God. He's a big one. Well, I had a glimpse of his back, but I didn't know it was his back. I turned my scope up, and it just looked odd between two big trees and a bunch of brush. I took a step to the left, and I saw his tail flicker. Then I turned to the right, and he walked. And I couldn't get a shot through all the brush, and trees. So he laid down not 20 yards later, but I had to come around. And looking back, I saw where he saw me, right when he had decided to lay down. You can see he was looking at his back track and then went another 30 yards. So it's tough because it's so crunchy, but I got within 30 yards. But I never saw him. I've yet to see his antlers. That's the way it is. Running tracks. So tomorrow I marked the point on my location when I left the track on Onyx. So I'm going to go directly to that spot. Then I can catch up. Maybe I'll bump them and then catch them feeding tomorrow. It's supposed to be a little warmer and less crunchy. Well, I'm going back to go find the track. It snowed an inch and a half, so the canvas has been wiped clean. It stopped snowing about an hour ago, so I'll be able to time when I catch up to him. And hopefully a lot of the snow is dropping off the trees. It makes it hard because last night's tracks will be tough to follow, but he's big enough that I think I can follow it. And we'll see what happens. Well, I found my waypoint, and I found a few of his tracks, but the snow, we got actually about 2 inches of fluff on top of what's coming off the trees, has completely wiped out any tracks. The good news is we got a new canvas, so anything you find is within an hour. But I'm disheartened because I know that buck's not far from here. I'm still going to look for his tracks right around here. I'm just going to walk within a half mile, go back and forth a few times because he's here somewhere. But maybe he was laying down all night. I mean, you just don't know. So I got to beat feet and find a track. Okay, looks like I got the track of maybe a 2.5, 3.5-year-old. I'm going to follow it, see if he takes me to something better. But he might even be bigger than that, or a giant doe. I have to follow for a while, but he's got a pretty thick stagger. Take a look. So the good news is they're eating beaches here, beech nuts, and just wandering around feeding. So snow is quiet today, so I'll have a good chance of seeing what this is. It's nothing I want. I'll show you. He put his nose, or she put her nose deep in the snow. No tine marks. Let me show you. Nothing. So keep moving, but at least I'm in deer now. Okay, I came up the mountain and I see a deer bedded. I could have shot him. I had the reticle right on him, but I could not see his head. And so then the wind shifted. He got up. I still couldn't see his head. I had the reticle right on his vitals. I didn't know, buck doe. I thought if that's a doe, that's a big one. But it ended up being a buck. I backtracked a little bit, and we got tine marks in the snow, and a big bed. I'll bring you to the bed in a minute. I'll take a picture of it, and yeah. So I'm gonna eat a sandwich. He blew at me. Now he knows the chase is on, so I gotta let him settle down. He's feeding like crazy. He's got a good foot on him. So many close calls. The roller coaster. I could have had him in his bed. So here's what I'll show you, the tine marks and then the bed. The tine marks aren't big, but it's really shallow snow, so let me show you. This is where his nose went in. So we got a couple here. And then one over there. So I don't really have a feel for that because he's moving his head around. So it doesn't tell me much. But I'm going to shoot because his bed is big. Let me show you that. And his track is good size too. There's more time marks. So, decent rack. This bed is a good size bed. It's a good buck. Okay, so he's all in the male and the wind. He's keeping the wind to his tail. So he's keeping track of me. But he's got a good track. Let me show you. Even though I didn't see his antlers, there was enough tine marks to make me interested, plus that track, plus the weight. And look at his track going down the mountain. Hi everyone, so I went back to get on that buck today, but the tracks were all blown out because of the blowing snow and and we also got 2 inches more of powder. So I just did circles, and I did eventually find some of his tracks. I got a direction where he was going. I went up on the spine of the mountain, lost his tracks completely, was just kind of randomly looking for a new set of tracks, and I look and I see a big deer bedded off to my left about 30 yards off. I put the Trijicon on the vitals, but I couldn't see his head. I didn't know if it was a doe or a buck. So it stood up, the wind shifted, and it took off. So I get down there, I realize it's the buck, it's my buck. I could have killed him right there easily. Just serendipitously, I happened to find him. So the chase was on. He was feeding just like yesterday, but today the snow was quieter, so I could make time. And eventually I got down to within 10 yards of him. He was on the other side of a blowdown. I didn't know that. He had fed around the side of it. And I was looking off to the right, and he jumped up, and I got 3 running shots off. But he jumped literally right into the spruce. He was gone. I shot right. He went left. That was that. And then I continued to track him all day. Had 2 more opportunities, but they were just, he saw me before I could even get the gun up. It was just flashes of brown. And hunted till dark, and then came out in the dark by compass, which is not a lot of fun if you've ever done it. So that's my day. It was exciting, and I marked his last bed, and I'm going to go after him again tomorrow. I know his MO, and I think I can get him. So wish me luck. All right, it's the 3rd day of my odyssey with this buck, and I just found his track. Pretty quick. He was feeding last night, but it's raining and 40 degrees, so I got to get on the track quick. Wish me luck. Second bed. We are wicked close. Okay, so it's 11 o'clock. It's 11 o'clock, and I just caught up with him. He was right on this knoll. I was coming across practically a clear cut. It's not cut, but it's totally open. And he eye-spied me. But that's all right. He's up. I'm close. The snow is melting like lightning here. And so I wanted to be close. He'll run for a couple hundred yards. He'll start feeding, and then we're going to kill this guy today. That's what's going to happen. Yesterday, I didn't get to tell you because my phone got wet and it didn't record sound. So yesterday, I came around this blowdown right here. And I came to right here. He was laying down right here. You can't tell that because it's all rained out. And I took a shot as he ran through the spruce here and missed. But ironically, he's taken me on the exact same route as yesterday. I got Onyx tracker on. I've never had a buck do this. I was able to catch his track this morning, practically where I left it. Crazy. And within like 30 feet. And he came back to that spot for whatever reason this morning. I got lucky. And now he's taking me on the same route as he took me yesterday. But he's gaining time on me because he's just not stopping to feed. He's nervous. He's a nervous Nelly. Because he got a good look at me this morning. So I just got to keep on him and hope that the 2 points connect. It's gonna be one of those deals. All right, we'll see. I think I just caught up to him. He's just trucking, man, like he's in rut or something. But I think what's happening is I think he's going to the deer yard, because we got up on the mountain again where I first saw him yesterday, and he just kind of looked around, never bedded, and then has been heading in a straight line ever since, straight for the yard, which is another about 2 miles from here. But he's going like a laser. I'm looking on Onyx on my tracker, and you can see where the last 2 days we've made this big circle around this mountain, almost to the same exact spots. It's crazy. Obviously, he's won many battles with people and coyotes by using this route. But today, you can see where he sat for a little while on top of the mountain and then literally just started heading straight like he was in rut again. But he's not scent checking for does or anything like that. I think he's going to the yard. We'll see. We'll see. Hopefully I can get him down there. He's, at least I caught up to him. Jesus, I mean, he's just flying, and I'm getting tired. It's been 2 weeks of this. I'm tired. Well, today is the third day on that buck. Ironically, I got his track super easy. I made a waypoint on Onyx where I left him last night. I got out late in the dark. And he bedded not 10 feet from where I left him. So he must have just fed around there and then come back down to that spot. So I got real lucky on that this morning. And he wasn't too far ahead of me. I got kind of skunked by does. There was a couple of does with him, and they bolted, and I never saw him that time. I saw the 2 does go, and he stayed low. It's just where he was positioned, lower on the hillside, so I never got to shoot him. And I saw the does go, but I didn't see him. And then basically the chase was on all day. We did a 7-mile loop, and I saw him twice, but just flashes of brown and flag very quickly. He saw me. He knows my game now too, so he's pretty smart at keeping the wind when we're doing this route. He can clock me basically with the wind. So he literally, I set the tracking on my Onyx. For 3 days now, we've gone in the same circle around this mountain. And today we actually passed by the spot that I almost shot him yesterday. So it was just weird that we were going sometimes crossing his tracks, but 3 days now it's the same general pattern. So I might work that to my advantage tomorrow. Austin's going to be coming with me, so we might double up on him. Austin doesn't have a tag anymore, but he's going to come with a camera, and I can still use him to my advantage. So it should be fun. So we'll see how it goes. So that was my day. So yesterday I didn't give an update video because there was nothing to update. I took the day off with my son. We hung out at camp. I napped. I ate a ton. I gave my body the rest it needs to perform today, the last day. And I'm going to go back for that buck that I tracked for 3 days and resume the chase if I can find him. I think I can, because he goes back to the same general areas, and we had fresh snow last night. Most of his tracks were wiped out the day before, and when it rained, so I didn't go back there that day. But I'd like to finish what I started and see if I can't close the deal on the last day. I have a tendency to do that. I've done it like 5 different times. So, so that's going to be the day. Let's see how it turns out. Well, I got in here early. As you can see, it's not really light yet. Just to try and make it to the track. And I got really lucky. I found this bear track, huge bear track, coming down off the mountain, down to the road. I said, you know what? I'll backtrack him. It'll just give me something to do. Because he's going in the direction. Well, he came from the direction of where I want to get this buck. And I kept getting distracted thinking, I'll go track this bear down because it's a big one. And then I thought, no, just stay on the task at hand. And guess what? My buck, probably 200 feet off the road, is right here crossing the bear track. So let me show you. There's the bear track. There's my tracks. And there's the buck track. So I gotta let it get a little lighter before he could be 100 feet that way. So I'm just gonna take my time, let it get a little lighter, and go after him. I'm already close. He's feeding. Some time marks. Well, this is the second time I bumped him. I don't know how he saw me. He must have heard me coming. I was in the death creep, but it's real crunchy. And I think I hit a stick right when I crested the hill. And this is his bed. Hold on. This is his running tracks. So I'm just going to relax and let him calm down. He's feeding and laying down, so hopefully I'll get a chance at him. Get a crack. Well, I almost caught him feeding. I'm just one little step behind because he hears the crunch. If the sun can warm up the snow just a little bit, maybe warm up what's underneath, give me 3-4 degrees in an hour, things will get silent. Otherwise, I think I'm on the roller coaster here. 1 minute I think I got him. Next minute he's busting off a mountain. This time he didn't freak out. He's just walking fast. But I'll keep at it. So this is the 3rd or the 4th bed, I can't even remember, that I've knocked him out of. I almost got a shot. I was right up the hill there, and I heard him crunch away. And I think I got closer this time because I tried something a little different. I tried to use a grunt call, but now I'm not sure I can use it again. Kind of used that up. So let me show you his bed. And here the track's leaving. So I'm going to try something different. I keep for days now. I'm a little bit late. He's just laying down, which gives him the advantage. So instead of waiting the 20 minutes, I'm going to wait 10. I'm going to get going here. But I'm going to go the same cadence because I get close. And hopefully this time I can catch him feeding. So off I go. Let's see what happens. I can tell I got this buck frazzled. He really pulled out all the stops, went through a giant alder swamp, which was no fun to go through. Took me across the river, which had some pretty deep water in it. And we're on the other side of this massive swamp. So, but I can tell he's darting here and there. It's almost like he has indecision. He doesn't understand what's happening. My guess is he's pretty good at going to a river and getting rid of coyotes, but I'm still on him. And now I'm going to slow down because he's on the edge of the swamp and heading up the other mountain. He's got to chew his cud, and because he fed like crazy this morning. Every time he bedded, before that he ate a whole bunch of browse, ferns, and beech nuts. So all he wants to do is lay down. But I'm going to catch him. Hopefully he'll start feeding again and then lay down, but I think I'm closer this time, so we'll see. I want to show you something. So he was running and then walking fast. And right here is where he feels safe again. What he did was he stopped behind the spruce, spied behind him, and now the cadence of his walk is a casual walk. And we're going back up the mountain on the opposite side of the river. So he feels like he escaped. So within 200 yards he'll be feeding. And then within 200 yards of that he'll be bedding. All I have to do is be in the death creep from here to him. But let me show you the tracks how I know. See how he's just stopped right there? And then look, nice short squat tracks. So wish me luck. Feeding less than 100 yards.